Pressure is increasing for the RBA to abandon its plan of the cheapest interest rates in history as inflation is rising faster than expected.
Australians know it, business knows it. Prices are rising, and that spells higher inflation. The official annual inflation rate ended 2021 at 3.5%. For the quarter, it was 1.3%. That was much higher than expected. The key driver of this inflation is a 32% rise in petrol and other fuels, and what you pay at the pump feeds through to all other parts of the economy. But shortages of supplies pushed up the price of household goods, furnishings, mowers, TVs. And soaring house prices saw the cost of a roof over your head also sharply higher. The Reserve Bank will look through price increases if it thinks they're short term, but there's growing evidence that this inflation is here to stay. And the way that central banks around the world deal with systemically higher inflation is, traditionally, to raise interest rates.
And as the Governor has repeatedly said over the last few years, in fact, he needs to see it getting through to the wage process, to the wage setting process. The last print we got of wages, it was still running at 2.2%. And the Governor has said that the RBA needs wages growth to be running at 3 to 4% to be convinced that this inflation isn't just going to be temporary.
The RBA's key measure for inflation is called the trim mean. Its target is for this to be between 2 and 3%. Its forecast for 2022 is 2.25%. But for the year to December, the trim mean came in at 2.6%, the highest since 2014. In other words, it's already well ahead of the RBA's tip for this year.
We are now running with inflation pretty much on target as these numbers present. So it's not all bad news. From the RBA's perspective, inflation's on target. And we're still of the view that the RBA is going to play a cautious line, a patient line, but actually it's more likely 23 than 22. But that's where the big question is going to be now. So rate rises are coming. People need to get used to that.
And with Omicron still rampant and talk of higher costs, wages and interest rates, there's no surprise that business confidence in December recorded its third biggest fall on record, according to the National Australia Bank survey. Ross Greenwood, Sky News.